really grinds my gears.
What the hell is wrong with you?
What the hell is wrong with you?
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Ryno's Rants. And as the tag photo on video says tonight, we have to have discussion tonight. But before we get into that, one news item team that came today, two actually. One, Nick Mullins will be the starting quarterback again next Sunday, to really surprise. And the team also announced today that they are opening the 2021 window for linebacker Jordan Hicks, and he will resume practicing tomorrow. Couple of things I heard today is an outside chance he may play on Sunday, so something worth keeping an eye on anyway. But anyway, the biggest thing, of course, that we always talk about is wrap up / blind from the past weekend's Minnesota Vikings game, where the Minnesota Vikings successfully snatched feet from the jaws of victory, giving up three touchdowns in the fourth quarter and field goal in overtime to lose the game. I apologize, guys. My internet is a little sketchy tonight, so if it's skipping out on me, I apologize for that. How bad is it? Are we enough to continue, or do I have to shut down and come back? Doc, G, and Drew. Oh, lovely. If I shut down, I'm going to have to shut the entire computer down. Probably be back echo. All right, guys, I'm going to shoot. All right, hold on. You'll be blank for minutes. I'll be back as soon as I can. All right, guys, I'm on backup computer. Is this any better? We're going to have a little bit of a jump on the video feed here because my video card screwed up on this one, but we'll go with this to start with. But as I was saying, the Minnesota Vikings snatch defeat from the jaws of victory with a massive fourth quarter collapse. It was something that capped off, of course, by that wonderful Kevin O'Connell play calling that ran the Vikings variant of the tush push. Not once, but twice in a row, with the third smallest guy on the team as the pusher. You have 5'8", 185-pound Brandon Powell trying to push Nick Mullins across the freaking line. And if you look back, you saw some of the footage from the game before they ran that second one. You saw Brian Flores on the sidelines yelling to try to get O'Connell to call a timeout before before they ran that play, but they never did. And O'Connell was trying to get cute, said in his post-game press conference that they were trying to catch the Bengals off without letting them substitute personnel. You don't do that when you have something like that in there. And you've got Josh Oliver, who's like 6'7", 260 pounds. You've got CJ Ham, who's about 240, 230, somewhere in there. You've got TJ Hawkinson, who's a pretty good sized dude. Any of those guys you could have be your pusher in that quarterback sneak, and yet you try to do it not once but twice with somebody who has no business doing it. I don't understand what O'Connell was thinking on that one. It's another one of those things that he gets too cute and tries to outsmart himself sometimes. I know we're seeing a whole bunch of stuff on social media the last few days, fire Kevin O'Connell, this, that, everything else. No, we're not going to fire Kevin O'Connell. We shouldn't fire Kevin O'Connell. But as part of the tagline for tonight is we do need to have a discussion about whether or not Kevin O'Connell should continue to be the play caller for this team. I think there's a very serious argument that can be made that he should not. He should be the head coach / CEO / in-game coordinator, all that kind of stuff, but have somebody else calling the plays, whether it be Wes Phillips, whether they bring somebody else in. I mean, on the team right now, it would be Wes Phillips, but Reggie don't like the quarterbacks or the Mullins sneak. Quarterbacks that are awesome at it. I agree with that 100%. I mean, I don't disagree with the call so much as I disagree with how it was executed. They should not be running, again, the smallest guy on the team with trying to push. It was doomed to fail from the start, and I don't know why it failed. It worked so shittily the first time, they had to try it again the second time. I don't know. Disgusting act. Some people forget Jalen Hurts can squat 600 pounds. That is a key thing right there is, Jalen Hurts is a big dude, and, with that makes all the difference in the freaking world. It does. Riley, good evening. Florida's defense has been incredible, but the fourth quarter soft defense is concerning. That's a great point, and I was about ready to bring that up. For all the arguments to Kevin O'Connell and everything else to that effect, I'm not letting Flores off the hook on this one either. It's to what Riley's point was. Kevin Seifert from ESPN posted this out earlier today. In the last 4 games where the Vikings are 1-3, in quarters 1 through quarters 3, the Vikings are allowing 4.5 points per game. That is number 1 in the NFL and not even a question about it. But in the fourth quarter and overtime, they're allowing 10.5 points per game, which is 31st in the league. And what it all boils down to is this team does not know how to play with a lead. They don't. And until they figure out how to play with a lead, it's something that we're going to continue to. That's why we have all of these one-score games. I think in Kevin O'Connell's 20 wins or whatever it's been, all but like 3 of them are one-score games. I mean, we've seen it this year. We got out 24-3 on the Saints. Ended up with a missed Hail Mary attempt to win that game. We were up 17-3 against the Bengals, lost that one. Every damn thing we do is a one-score game. And it's a lack of killer instinct. It's a lack of, I don't know if we get that, okay, we're ahead, that's good enough. Let's just try to bleed this out and walk away with a win. But there is no killer instinct on this team. And that includes the last few weeks, Flores in the second halves of those games. It's, we had him completely shut down for 3+ quarters. And then we hadn't given up a touchdown in like 14 quarters. And then we give up 3 on consecutive drives. And I don't understand why we change what we're doing in the fourth quarter all the time. But, okay, hold on one second, guys. We're going to get a bit of a blurb here for a second. I'm on here twice. All right. Can you guys hear me on the big screen here again now, or are we still screwed up? Smash, thank you, Dave. Absolutely. Hit the like button if you have not done so. Appreciate all of it when you guys do so. Okay, we got you this time. Thank you. Hey, Dan, good evening. Good evening, Doc. Good evening, Chuck. Good evening, Dave. All you guys that I missed off the beginning. Got the technical difficulties figured out, back on the main computer, so we get rid of the jump, and we'll keep rolling here. But yeah, I know, Dave, my internet here at the rural studios is not quite up to snuff, and it's the best I can do at the moment. They're coming through with fiber optic here before too long, but we got to make do with what we got for right now. So KOC and B-Flow need to watch how Baltimore finished that game. Yeah, I would agree. Baltimore kept the foot on the gas last night, and they put the Jaguars away. It's just, I don't understand. Hearing is more important than seeing. I got a face for radio anyway, so that's it kind of is what it is. But I don't know. What do you guys think here on this stuff? I mean, why can't we play with a lead? That's the question I've got. And like I said, it's not just O'Connell. It's been Flores the last few weeks. The first 3 quarters, this defense is the best in the league. And all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, they quit putting pressure on. They just kind of play, lay back and play soft cover 2 and kind of let them move themselves down the field. And it just, it was like a light switch came on in the fourth quarter for Cincinnati, and the ball burnt out for the Vikings defense. I don't understand. Dave, yeah, they're working on it. They were digging about a mile from the farm here about a week or so ago, and I'm not sure where they're at and when it's coming through, but I know it's going to be here at some point in time. We're actually dealing with satellite internet right now, which isn't great, but it'll do what it is. Good evening, Malcolm. KOC doesn't know how to do that. I don't know. I don't know what it is with Kevin O'Connell. He's basically the first Sean McVay disciple who is scared to score points, it seems like. And I don't get it. You know, he was a quarterback in the NFL. He should know that you need to score points in order to win games. And, you know, I stupidly made the comment Friday night when Lance and I had the studio show that if we scored, 24 points, we'd win this game. Well, we didn't. Been on house money since Kirk got hurt. Kind of surprised we won the games we won. I agree with that to a point, Dan, but the problem is the games that we've lost. The only reason we lost is because of ourselves. Turnovers, untimely penalties, mostly turnovers, and stupid play calling by the coaching staff. This team, even without Kirk Cousins for half a season and without Justin Jefferson for 7 games, should be an 11-win team right now. And we're not, and the reason why we're not is our own incompetence. We can't get out of our own way, or we don't have that killer instinct to go put the boot on the throat of our opposition and take away their will to exist. I know it sounds a little on the harsh side, but you guys get what I'm coming at here. We have to go out there and finish these teams. You can't just go, oh, that's good enough. We're not going to go too much. We got enough now, and we're just going to kind of ride it out for the rest of the game here. Dan, great point. If we're getting smoked because of Kirk, fine, but that's exactly the problem. Is the Denver game. We should have won that game. Gave up a touchdown at the very end. The Bears game, absolutely should have won that one. Gave up a field goal at the end. Lost it. Cincinnati last Saturday. Excuse me. Gave up 21 points in the fourth quarter and then the field goal in overtime after the stupidity. Scoring points and losing turnovers is what huge part of it. Kevin O'Connell is like 17-3 in games where we have either tied or won the turnover battle, and he's like 3-10 in games where we lose it. We lose the turnover battle, we lose the games because this team doesn't have, whether it's the cojones or the desire or whatever, to take advantage of the opportunities that are there when you are presented with them. Score points, get up on these guys early, and keep the foot on the gas until the clock reads all zeros at the end of the fourth quarter. Riley, keep going back to the Chargers game. Fourth quarter, they handed the ball to the Vikings in the red zone. The Vikings did dick with it. Exactly. I mean, we out Brandon Staley. I mean, of course, he finally got his ass fired because of his incompetence, but we gave them that game. They gave it to us, and it was like hot potato. Like, no, you guys have it back. We don't want it. Seems like a good record this show for all the games. Yeah, but then I couldn't talk to you guys on a Monday night, so what fun would that be? Got to learn the behavior. Compete to win and humiliate is a cultural thing. The culture switch to participation trophies. That's part of it, Dave. But I mean, look at Miami. They went and hung 70 on Denver just because they could. This team has never. Have we even scored 50 points under Kevin O'Connell? I don't think we have. I'm not even sure if we scored 40. But and KOC doesn't have the killer instinct is he trying to respect his DC? Either we being too nice, we're not here to make friends, we're here to build a championship team. Exactly. I mean, I love the culture that O'Connell's building in the locker room and all this other stuff, but you have to be able to set that aside. Keep that in amongst your own guys, but have that instinct to go out, because when you step on that field, whether it be a Sunday night, Sunday afternoon, Saturday, Thursday night, Monday night, whatever the hell it is, when you step on that field, your sole purpose should be to absolutely beat your opponent into submission. Take away their will to compete. Put them away. Put the nails in the coffin, whatever analogy you want to use. But you have to go out and with the idea that you're going to destroy the other team, O'Connell plays not to lose. That is exactly what he does. He plays not to lose. And when you play not to lose, more often than not, you lose, as we're showing this year. 11-0 in one-score games last year. We are what? 5-7 in one-score games this year now? Absolutely, Drew. Bottom line, if you get 11 possessions, you should be striving for 77 points. Exactly. Your goal every time you get that ball, we're going to go down, we're going to score a touchdown. Try to stop us. Sometimes you're going to get stopped. That happens in football. That's fine. But we're just going to, do these uber conservative this, and this. And then when you get to a point where you probably should call a conservative play, then we're going to spread them out 5 wide when it's on 4th and 1 and throw a 40-yard bomb down the field that's got about a 12% chance of being completed. You play to win the game. Yes, Dan. Go soft Sunday. We will get pounded. Yeah. Detroit is going to come in and ready to play. They are. Yes, back to Reggie again. Whiteout Sunday. Whiteout thing was cool last year with when we played the Giants. But we have not been a good home team this year, and we got 2 more home games this year that we need to win. We need to win them both, because at 1 and 2, there's a very good chance that we don't make it into the playoffs. Depending upon, Green Bay losing on Sunday helped. Some of the other teams are losing. Tampa Bay winning and having a fairly firm grasp on the NFC South right now helps. The Rams won, which puts them in the playoffs right now. We still have tiebreaker over them, the Atlanta and New Orleans, but Seattle's still in the mix. They're playing tonight. Drew and I were talking before the game here that, it pains me that I have to cheer for the Eagles tonight, but what's best for the Vikings is for the Eagles to win. So we have to, hold our nose and cheer for the Eagles tonight, but play to win the game. Don't just play to play. Absolutely. Anthony, please. Yeah. Don't make too many predictions, Ant, because we all know how those usually work out. Reggie, Detroit will throw everything at us. We need to get that Ray Lewis mentality when he played Eddie George. You got to be willing to die on that field. KOC was more aggressive. Our team would be too. And that's part of that just another part that boggles my mind. Team media tonight. Absolutely, Dan. But to Reggie's point here, this is one thing that boggles my mind. And sometimes Kevin O'Connell looks like an absolute genius out on that field with some of the stuff he does. So we know he's capable of it. But then there's other times, like I said, where he out Brandon Staley, or, last year, that game against Detroit, he out Dan Campbell. It's this exactly, Riley. The glimpses of what could be. That 49ers game this year. It was, that was the most complete game this team has played in the 2 years Kevin O'Connell's been here. I think other than maybe the Packers game at home last year. Just don't go full Ray Lewis. Yeah, we'll leave that one as it is. But but yeah, it's just this here. That kind of goes to my point I was making earlier, Reggie. If we're playing from behind, they know what to do. He gets more aggressive. He goes out and takes risks, takes chances, is being aggressive because he knows he has to make up points to get back to that point. But we don't know how to play with a lead. We've shown that how many times this year? Three of the last 4 games, we've had to lead in the fourth quarter, given it up and lost. We've many times last year would come down to those 1-score games because we were up, like I said, 24-3 on New Orleans and almost lost that game. And with the Flores side of things, that's even more boggling because Flores is aggressive as hell for 3 quarters. We all know that he is, because we see it on a weekly basis. But why late in the games in the fourth quarter do we quit being aggressive? You don't quit with the aggression. I mean, there's a difference between just being aggressive for the sake of being aggressive and being smart with your aggression. We're not even being smart with our aggression anymore because at the end of the third quarter, it seems like we take the aggressive tray, stick it on the shelf, and save it for next week. KOC needs someone who can smack him when he's being stupid. I mean, he's the head coach, but there's got to be some accountability here too. I think Kevin O'Connell has the potential to be a very good head coach. He's a good coach as it is. He's what this team needed as from a culture standpoint to get this team turned around from the toxic environment that was at the tail end of the Mike Zimmer, Rick Spielman regime. But sometimes with this nice guy stuff, I saw somebody posted this on, I think it was on the X-Files earlier today. Might have been our Facebook group. If it was one of you guys, I apologize. But it seems as though they're almost pushing the culture over results on the field because it's, we want to be this, positive that. Well, football is a violent, brutal game. We all know it is. It's always been that way. It's not as much as it used to be, but it is still a violent, brutal game. And you have to be mentally tough. You have to be physically tough out on that field or you are going to lose. And we're showing that this year. I mean, and like to Dan's comment earlier, we're playing with house money here. And if we were getting blown out after Kirk went out and when Jefferson was down, nobody, we'd have been upset about it, but it wouldn't have been unexpected. The problem and the most infuriating part about it is we have been competitive in every one of these games we have played. And I will argue that the other teams didn't beat us. We have beaten ourselves because we can't hold on to the ball. We don't have that instinct to put teams away. And it drives me nuts. I had made a comment the other day, our buddy Drew had posted in our Gallerhorn group about, just the frustration of these games and the hurting stuff. And I started thinking about this, just how irritated I get from some of this stuff because it's inexcusable. I mean, I could take being a crappy team and losing games. Do I like it? No. But if the expectations aren't there and you're losing games, it is what it is. It's not, teams trying to get better, trying to do all this. But for everything that this team has gone through this year, this team has the potential to be a very good team, even without Kirk Cousins and missing Justin Jefferson for a good portion of the year and Jordan Hicks being out and our 2 big free agent signings and Dean Lowry and Marcus Davenport not playing for the majority of the year. Now, Dean Lowry didn't do a whole lot when he was in there, I haven't heard a thing about Marcus Davenport in weeks. There's no talk of him even coming back. So, doing all of that, it's just frustrating how we're right there on the cusp, but we can't finish. Some of it's the defense being tired. You're not wrong on that. It's when the offense isn't moving the ball and they're going 3 and outs, yeah, the defense starts getting gassed in the fourth quarter. But the play calling has changed too. Now, is Flores changing the play calling because he knows his guys are gassed? It's possible. Is Kevin O'Connell giving the directive to back off and just ride the game out at the end? I hope not. It's possible that he is. I hope he's not. But I wish I had an answer, and it would help me sleep better at night if I knew what the answer was to this. But it's just, this team is so infuriating this year. It would have been the most Vikings thing ever to lose all of those guys and then somehow figure out a way to do this. But it become an even more Vikings thing to lose all of those guys, find a way to stay afloat through the middle part of the season, and then when things start looking up again, do what they're doing now. It is so frustrating, guys. And I know you guys feel it too. We talk about this every week. Like Drew said, I could just record this and play it over and over every week. But the coaching staff has got to take a long look at itself. And starts with Kevin O'Connell, but it also becomes part of what Brian Flores has done the last few weeks, 4 weeks in the fourth quarter at least. We got to figure out, and some of this in the fourth quarter, was it T. Higgins made a hell of a catch down at the goal line. Now, Mekhi Blackmon stood there with his thumb up his ass and just watched instead of getting over there. He could have knocked that ball out, or knocked him out of bounds, so the catch wouldn't have counted. I'm not excusing Blackmon for that, because you never give up on a play, and he just stood there and watched it. Literally stood there and watched it. And I'm a big Mekhi Blackmon fan. I love what the kid's done this year. But a couple of times he's had issues like that. He had that one, and then the ball against Cortland Sutton that cost us the Denver game. He misplayed that one too. Now he's a rookie. Some of that stuff comes with experience and learning, but it is all that stuff comes at the worst possible time. Hey, Rap, good evening. Davenport is done. Even Hicks made it back before him. Yeah, and Hicks ended up in the hospital with an injury that could have cost him his leg. I had never heard of a compartment injury until Hicks came down with it, but from all accounts, it was pretty serious. And the fact that he's going to be back, he's done his 4 weeks, and it's not out of the question he plays on Sunday. And it would be great to have him back again on Sunday. Ivan Pace Jr. has done a magnificent job filling in as he's been gone. And Pace, he has earned playing time regardless of Hicks is there or not. But I would much rather have Jordan Hicks and Ivan Pace as your starters than Ivan Pace and Troy Dye, because Troy Dye started this last week. He got in there a couple of times. He actually should have had a couple of sacks, but couldn't finish the deal when he got back there. That's one thing here. We will go one positive note. Danielle Hunter had 2 sacks on the game, which put him at 15.5 and back to the league lead in sacks. That one that got him at 14.5 got him also $1 million bonus. So congrats to him on that. And he also moved past Jared Allen into sole possession of 6th place on the all-time Vikings sack list. He's got, I believe, 10 sacks to go to catch Chris Dolman. Doubt that he will get there this year, but if he is part of the team next year, very likely shot that he gets it then. But Danielle Hunter, this defense has been tailor-made for him. He is having a career year, and the guy's going to get paid whether it's here or whether it's someplace else. But he's been an absolute monster the entire year, and that's the thing. We looked at this defense at the beginning of the year, saying, if we can get it to mid-pack or something like that, we'll consider that a win. Flores has done more than that. We've got the defense prior to Sunday or Saturday anyway, was top 5 in scoring. It was top 10 in yards. We're top 5 in rushing. Now, Cincinnati didn't run the ball very well against us, but Jake Browning, goes on afterwards saying how he had the extra motivation. He yelled on the sidelines, you never should have effing cut me and this, that, and everything else. That's all great and well, Jake, but you're mad at people that are no longer here because it was Zimmer and Spielman that cut you, not Kwesi and KOC. And honestly, other than that one night practice where he went out and took all the snaps and looked really good, didn't look very good at all when he was here. Now, granted, that was like 2 to 3 years ago, so he's learned more, got a little bit more experience elsewhere. Got behind somebody other than Mike Zimmer, who hates quarterbacks and would prefer that they not exist. Imagine if Hunter had the power of the mullet like Jared Allen, he'd have 30 sacks a year. Hey, deep down, everybody digs the mullet. It is what it is. Pace wants to be a superstar. Should make a tackle at the goal line. I'm not going to, he tried to make the knock with the shoulder instead of wrapping up, and that didn't help matters any. But Ivan Pace has played fantastic all year long, and he's going to be in the conversation for Defensive Rookie of the Year, and he should be. Kept Boyd quiet up until the last drive, yeah. And then we blew coverage, and it's just those little things that just keep this team from getting over that hump and being one of those teams that teams are scared to play. The Flores defense through 3 quarters, I guarantee you that gives offensive coordinators nightmares. But either they're, like I said, either these other teams are making adjustments late in the game, in-game adjustments. God forbid. I didn't even know that was possible because it seems like we don't make them. Don't you dare sugarcoat that play. Ivan would have been the hero of the game. Yeah, he would have. And he made the decision to try to knock him back with, just basically blast into him and knock him backwards instead of wrapping up. And it was a mistake. It was. But by and large, in the grand scheme of the year, Ivan Pace has way exceeded expectations. And the Vikings have got a very good linebacker for many years to come with him. I fully believe that. Mike Zimmer finding ways to help this team lose to backup quarterbacks even after his tenure. Yeah. I understand Browning's point. You get a little extra fuel to fire because you got playing a team that, at least in your mind, did you wrong. So there's always motivation when you have that chip on your shoulder. And the guy has played well when he's been in there. I didn't expect anything out of Jake Browning when he took over for Cincinnati, but he's played very well in Burrowstead. Now, again, and we saw it a lot too. He doesn't throw the ball downfield. Everything is at or I think it's over 50% of his passes are at or behind the line of scrimmage. And they did a bunch of that again on Saturday. We knew it was coming. We did a good job of it for 3 quarters. But then surprisingly, they did start pushing the ball downfield a little bit in the fourth quarter, and some of that was the problem. Flores has done wonders with the talent he's been working with. You're right, Dan. He's gotten, a very good year from Harrison Smith. Harrison Smith obviously is not the guy he used to be. Would not be surprised at all to see Harrison Smith retire after this year. But, Jordan Hicks, we were all ready to throw him out the door at the end of last year. Jordan Hicks was having a great season up until he got hurt. Guys like Ivan Pace, even look up front. We talked about how much, that defensive line was going to be the weak spot for us. Harrison Phillips has had a very good year. Jonathan Bullard is playing at a good level. He went from just a guy to actually being somebody who can make some plays down there. Now, like I said before, Dean Lowry, not so much. Doing kind of that rotation thing in at the nose tackle with Sheldon Day. Karis Tonga has not played as well as I expected him to this year, which is kind of disappointing. Jacalyn Roy has shown some flashes in there in the limited time he's got. One that's kind of surprised me is that Brian Asamoah has not gotten the play that we all expected. At the beginning of the year, we expected him to be starting linebacker next to Jordan Hicks. And, this past week, last couple of weeks, it's been Troy Dye getting the start, at the other linebacker position and not Asamoah. And I'm kind of wondering what's going on there. If there's something Flores isn't liking with what he's seeing, obviously, but what that is, I don't know. Tell me it's not weird how the game in 2021 was almost identical. There's so many weird parallels you can draw with any Vikings game anymore. I've kind of given up trying to, but yeah, you're not wrong. Announcers jinxed us about Vikings not giving up a touchdown. Yeah, they said it straight out. Vikings haven't given up a touchdown in 14 quarters or whatever, and then the very next, or that drive, and the 2 consecutive after that, we give up touchdowns. I'm not one that necessarily believes in jinxes unless Anthony Tollison is the one making the comment. All jokes, Ant, but it is what it is. Did Barr even play? I don't believe they had him called up this week. If he did, I didn't see him either, Jared. So I don't think he played. I didn't look at the box score to see the snap counts. I didn't see his name in the snap counts either. So I don't think they had him activated this week. I think the only 2 they brought up from the practice squad this week were Tristan Jackson and Myles Gaskin. But speaking about the running backs, let's kind of finish up this show on kind of a high note and talk about Ty Chandler. Most of us have been clamoring for this kid to get more playing time all season long. He goes out and gets his first start and proceeds to be the first Minnesota Vikings running back since week 10 of 2022 to get 100 yards rushing. I think he finished with 120, 130 yards, somewhere in that general area. Great game by Ty Chandler. He was a 3-down back. Everybody's saying the reason why Madison plays over Chandler is because Chandler is not a very good pass blocker. He did fine in the opportunities that I saw. 132. Thanks, Reggie. Ty Chandler has earned more carries with this team. You want to do a 50-50 split with Madison? Fine. 60-40 one way or the other. I'd go 60 Chandler, 40 Madison, but I think Ty Chandler has earned the right to be the starting running back on this team. And he showed it this week. He ran for like 6.7 yards per carry or somewhere around in there. It was, the kid had a hell of a game. Hasn't helped himself up until Cincy spot duty, but barely 2 yards a carry most games. Some of that is, I mean, he's had some long runs, but some of that is just the plays that are called too. They, he doesn't have that run over people ability. Like Madison has that. Chandler can make you miss. He can do that jump cut and kind of bust through, but he doesn't have the power or the, I guess, the brute force maybe that Madison has to be that power back. And that's why you do a running back by committee. Madison is more of a power back. You let him do the power stuff. Chandler is a speed back. You get him out in space. You get him in areas where he can make plays. And I'm hoping they're realizing that now. I know Kevin O'Connell said today that Chandler has earned, more reps. Now, what does more reps mean? Does it mean, he should be getting 15 carries a game, somewhere in that range. Chandler's going to start for the rest of the year. He did not say that yet, Anthony. He was non-committal on that. He said he's going to get more playing time. He didn't say he was going to be starting. I know he deserves to start over Madison. I agree. Riley, how do you feel about the O-line going into next year? I like what Dalton Reisner's done, and I think the team likes what Dalton Reisner's done. So I believe they're going to do what they can to get him back. And I think Reisner wants to be here. So I think next year you're going to go into it with Darisaw and Reisner at the left side. O'Neill's still under contract. He'll be on the right side. Ed Ingram, for as much as we tore on him at the beginning of the year, deservedly so, Ingram has played considerably better, I think, in the second half of the year. Ingram, we say it all the time. A lot of times it takes 2 to 3 years for a guard to start reaching his potential, and I think Ingram is getting there, so I'm okay with Ingram. Bradbury is still a weak point, and we saw that with the failed tush pushes. He got shoved back, especially on the second one, shoved back into Mullins, and that's what caused the bobble and didn't allow it to be successful. Bradbury is undersized. We need to get a bigger center in there, and I think center has to be a priority. When it comes to free agency in the draft, we're going to have some money to spend. Obviously, in the draft, we have several needs we're going to have to look at. Whether or not Danielle Hunter is here depends on. We're still going to need another edge rusher because Wanham's a free agent. He likely ends up someplace else unless he wants to come back. Going to have to do something at the quarterback, even if we bring Kirk Cousins back, which is entirely possible at this point in time. We're going to take a quarterback in the first round as long as the guy, we're not going to take a guy just to take a guy, but I think we're going to take a quarterback in the first round. So we got center, we've got quarterback, we've got edge rusher. Still need some more help on the defensive line. We need a true nose tackle. Probably could use another defensive end. The Oregon center in the draft. I haven't done a whole lot of work on the offensive line yet, but he's a guy I will check out. Thanks for the recommendation, James. Reggie still draft some O-line depending on the board, some damn good ones on that South Dakota State O-line. Yeah, they're road graders. They're going back to Frisco. Much as it pains me to say it. Congratulations to South Dakota State and University of Montana for going to the FCS championship. We'll see what happens there in a couple weeks. But yeah, I don't want to talk too much draft here because the season's not over yet. We still control our own destiny to get into the playoffs. We no longer control our destiny as far as winning the NFC North. We have to beat Detroit both times, plus beat Green Bay, and have Dallas beat Detroit next week in order for that to happen. But yes, Riley, go Grizz. I'm pulling for the Grizz because I cannot in good conscience cheer for South Dakota State. It would be like me cheering for Green Bay, which makes me go hurl in a wastebasket in the corner. But depending upon where we finish, there are some interesting quarterbacks. There is, and we've talked about this before. It really doesn't matter where we finish because you can make a trade and move up if there's a guy up there that you want. Are we going to get a Drake May or Caleb Williams? Probably not. But you've got a lot of other guys. You've got Jaden Daniels. You've got J.J. McCarthy, who I'm not a huge McCarthy fan, but, there's options there. There's Bo Nix, who I'm not a big fan of either. Michael Penix. Bunch of guys. Quinn Ewers, if he comes out. Now there's talk that Quinn Ewers probably is not going to come out this year. He's probably going to stick around in college one more year, but we'll see about that when we get to that point. Putting bear on the smoker January 7th. Madison was making fuss about getting back in last week. He knew that Chen was turning up when he got his shot. Yeah, that's probably true. We don't know if Madison will play this week or not. Possible. They said he's going to practice tomorrow. It's on a limited basis, but I think we beat the Lions by 3. I'll take a 3-point win. I'll take a 1-point win. I'll take a 13-point win. I will take a 23-point win. As long as it's a 1-point win, I will take it. Mac Jones, McCarthy. I kind of have that same feeling, Riley. I'm not going to do any deep diving on quarterbacks too much. I mean, I've watched a fair amount of film on some of these guys already, just or actual game stuff. But I don't see it in JJ McCarthy, him being, a successful NFL quarterback. I could be wrong. Jaden Daniels, very intriguing. I think he's one of the few Heisman that would be good. I like Jaden Daniels. He's at or near the top of my list of guys that I think we realistically can get. My favorite quarterback in the draft is still Drake May, but I don't think we're going to get him. We could. I mean, we might be able to pull a trade and get up there, but with the teams that are up front and, we don't know what New England's going to do. We don't know if the Bears are going to stick with Justin Fields or not. All that stuff. Can we draft Connor Stallions? We just need to get him on the scouting team for checking out the coming week's oppositions. I think he probably must have learned from Bill Belichick at some point in time. But anyway, Kalikamakis might be available in round 73. Yeah, that would be a little early for him, I think, even then. He's transferring out of Minnesota, so we'll see how he plays at a different team. But Daniel's too small, maybe. I guess we'll kind of see what happens when we get to that point. But like I said, we've talked draft more tonight than I really wanted to. But we got 3 more games yet. We're not out of it yet, and I'm not going to throw in the towel until we are officially eliminated, which 1 and 2 with help, we could still get in. We finished 2 and 1, we're in the playoffs. That's all we got to shoot for right now. Split with Detroit and beat Green Bay, we're in the playoffs. That's all we need to worry about. I don't care about the division. Would it be nice to win the division? Yes. But we blew our shot at that last weekend, I believe. So let's just try to get in and see what happens. We've said it before, we're playing with house money without Kirk and all this other stuff, but let's just finish the year on a high note, play like this team can play, eliminate the turnovers, and go win some damn games. But we've been going on here for about 55 minutes, a little bit longer than I planned on going tonight, but we did have some technical difficulties at the beginning, which, again, I apologize for. But want to thank all you guys in the chat for joining. Great discussion tonight. Always love talking live football with you guys. Great, knowledgeable bunch of guys. I enjoy the hell out of this every week. Great way to start the Monday. win or lose up in the past weekend. It's a therapy. If we lose, it's a celebration if we win. But again, keep an eye out for the rest of the week. Brunswick's Best should be back on Wednesday this week. He'll be looking at number 29. Studio show on Friday. I believe we're going to be pre-recorded this week, but check it out because we will be previewing the Detroit Lions game. Then, of course, next week, just kind of a programming note. Watch out for this. As of right now, I'm thinking we're going to do Ryno's Rants on Tuesday night next week, just because Monday night is Christmas and we want to be able to have everybody spend time with their families. We're all going to be in food comas and everything else like that. Anyway, so tentatively, Ryno's Rants will be Tuesday next week. So keep an eye out for that. We'll post it and everything else. But with that, thank you guys for watching. Shout out to the Filipino fan club, Noy, Jen, Bibi, Wilma, all you guys over halfway around the world watching. Appreciate that again. Appreciate you guys joining every week. And with that, you guys have a good rest of your night. Let's go watch some Monday Night Football, and we will see you Wednesday for Brunswick's Best studio show on Friday to preview the Detroit Lions whiteout game. So you guys have a good rest of your evening. We'll catch you later. Let's go Vikes.